Welcome children. Today I am dealing with some problems which may be useful for students those who are appearing entrance exam. So first one is two projectiles P and Q thrown with velocities V and V by 2 respectively. So two projectiles are there, P and Q, and P is thrown with a velocity V. So here velocity is V and this Q is thrown with a velocity V by 2. V by 2 and both are having the same range. So range of both the projectiles is same. And if Q is thrown at an angle of 15 degrees, so this projectile Q is thrown at an angle of 15 degrees. So here I am taking theta 2 equals 15 degree. 15 degree. Then at which angle projectile P is thrown? That means theta 1. So angle in which projectile P is thrown we have to find out. That is theta 1 we have to find out. And one more thing, it is given both are having same range. So we know the formula for range. R equals U square sine 2 theta by G. So this is the formula for which one? Range. So I am substituting the values. So range of projectile P. Range of projectile P equals range of projectile Q. So both are having same range. So we know the formula for range. What is the formula? U square sine 2 theta by G. So in the first case, projectile P, what is the initial velocity? It is taken as V. The projectile is thrown with a velocity V. So instead of U, I am putting there V. So V square sine 2 theta sine 2, what is the angle taken? Theta 1. So 2 theta 1 divided by G equals range of Q. So here what is the velocity, initial velocity? Instead of U we can put here V by 2 because it is thrown with a velocity V by 2. So U square means V by 2 the whole square, that is V square by 4. So V square by 4. So instead of U square I put V square by 4 because velocity here is V by 2. So V by 2 the whole square means V square by 4 into sine 2 theta. 2 into what is the theta 1 here? Theta 2. Here it is theta 2 only. So theta 2 is how much here? 15. So 2 into 15 divided by G. Okay. Now this G will cancel. V square will cancel. So remaining we have sine 2 theta 1 equals sine 30. 2 into 15 is 30 divided by 4. Again that is sine 2 theta 1 equals sine 30 value is 1 by 2. So 1 by 2 the whole divided by 4. That means 1 by 8. So we got sine 2 theta 1 equals 1 by 8. So sine 2 theta 1 equals 1 by 8. So from this 2 theta 1 can be written as sine inverse 1 by 8. If sine 2 theta 1 equal to 1 by 8. So from here we can have to find 2 theta 1. So 2 theta 1 equals sine inverse 1 by 8. And from here again we have to find theta 1. So theta 1 equals, we have to divide by 2. So 1 by 2. This 2 will be coming here. So 1 by 2 sine inverse 1 by 8. So this is the angle at which projectile P is thrown. So here we are using the formula for range. So range formula is U square sine 2 theta by G. It is given the range of both P and Q are equal. So we have to equate the range of both P and Q, and remaining values you have to substitute. So finally we are getting the angle at which projectile P is thrown. Okay. Now second problem. An object is thrown vertically with a velocity U. So an object is thrown vertically. Suppose this is the ground level and this object is thrown vertically up with a velocity how much? U. So U is the initial velocity. So initial velocity is taken as initial velocity of the object is taken as U. Okay. And when this object reaches at the height Okay, at this point, what is the velocity? We know it is 0. Final velocity is 0. So when the object reaches at the height, this final velocity is taken as how much? 0. And what we have to find out, what is the velocity with which it strikes the ground on its return. So when this object comes back to the ground, so when it reaches near to the ground, we have to find which one the final velocity be. Okay. So first of all, with these values, initial velocity is given, it is u. And what about at height, what is the final velocity? 0. And we have to find out time first. So time for which this object has to reach to this height. Okay. So we have the formula v equals u plus at. Okay, so what is the final velocity? For the upward movement, what is the final velocity? 0. So we can take it instead of v, we can write 0. 0 equals, initial velocity is taken as u itself. Then the object is thrown upwards. That means the object is moving against gravity. That means instead of a, here we have to put minus g. Because it is against gravity. So we are throwing an object upwards. So it is acting against gravity. So it is taken as which one? Minus. So instead of a, we can write as minus g into t. So from this we have to find out which one? T. The time taken by the body to reach the height. Okay. So here there is u equals gt, or from this t equals u by g. So this is the time taken by the object to reach the height. Then on the return journey also, what is the time taken? It is same only. The time for going up is equal to which one? Time for coming down. That means upward movement time is same as downward movement time. So this for the downward movement also time is same only. What is the time? U by g. Okay. So we have to find which one now? Final velocity. So now for the return journey, I told you for return journey also time is same only. So time we can take it as same thing. What is the time here? U by g. Okay. Then what is the initial velocity for the return journey? It is starting from here only. So u is taken as how much here? 0. So u equals 0. Then b we have to find out final velocity with which the object is striking the ground. That we have to find out. And again the same formula we can use. B equals u plus a t. Okay. So b means we don't know the value. Equals u, what is the value? 0. Then now this body is coming down. That is, it is moving towards gravity only. So instead of a, we can put here g, plus g only, not minus, because it is not moving against gravity. It is moving downward only in the direction of gravity. So we can write here plus g into what is the time here? U by g. U by g. So what we are getting now? So this g and g will cancel, and remaining we are getting v, final velocity v equals which one? Initial velocity. So the velocity with which the object falls down is equivalent to which one only? Equals initial velocity. Okay. So the velocity with which the object strikes the ground is equivalent to the initial velocity u. That is v must be equal to u. Next, third problem. A body of mass 2 kg. So mass is given here. Mass of the body is 2 kilogram. 2 kg is moving with a momentum of 10 kilogram meter per second. So momentum is also given. P equals 10 kilogram meter per second. Then we have to find out the force needed to increase its kinetic energy by 4 times in time 10 seconds. So we have to find the force needed to increase its kinetic energy. So first of all we have to find which one? Kinetic energy. The momentum is given here. So if momentum is given, how will you find kinetic energy? E equals kinetic energy. So we have a formula, kinetic energy. E equals P square by 2m. So P square by 2. So first of all we have to find the kinetic energy. Then only we have to find the force needed to increase kinetic energy by 4 times. So first of all from these given values we have to find kinetic energy. The formula is E equals P square by 2m. That is equivalent to, what is P here? 10. So P square means 10 into 10 divided by 2 into mass is how much? 2. So cancelling, you will be getting 50 by 2, that is 25. 25 joule. So 25 joule is the kinetic energy. Now what they are asking is, we have to find the force needed to increase its kinetic energy by how many times? 4 times. So we have to increase the kinetic energy by 4 times. That means 25 into 4 is how much? 100 joule. So for this 100 joule, for this kinetic energy to become 100 joule, how much force is needed? That we have to find out. So next step. So when kinetic energy increases by 4 times, then the new kinetic energy can be written as, suppose I am taking E dash. E dash is the new kinetic energy. Okay, it can be taken as, it becomes how many times? 4 times. So that means 100 joule. So now the kinetic energy becomes how much? 100 joule. The increase in kinetic energy, or E dash. So we can take it as increase in kinetic energy, dE. So dE is the increase in kinetic energy. That is, I have taken it as E dash. So E dash equal to how much here? 100 joule. So for that, how much force is needed? That we have to find out. So force needed. F equals, so we have the formula according to Newton's second law. Force equals change in momentum by time. Rate of change in momentum. That is equivalent to, so dP, how we can find out? So we have the formula connecting momentum and energy. E equals P square by 2m. E equals P square by 2m. So from this, how will you find P square? So P square equals 2me. Or from this, how will you find P? P equals root of 2me. Okay. That means change in momentum. We have, if you want to find change in momentum, dP means root of 2m into change in kinetic energy, dE. Okay, so dP equals root of 2m into dE. So here, how will you find force? dP by dt. That is root of dP, how we can write? 2m into change in kinetic energy, dE, divided by time, dt. That is equivalent to root of 2 into, what is mass? Already we have written mass. Mass is 2 kg. So 2 into, what is change in kinetic energy now? 100. Increase in kinetic energy is 100 divided by, so what is the time? It is given as 10. 10, that is equivalent to root of 2 into 4. 4 into 100 by 10. So root 4 we know. 2 into root of 100 is 10 divided by 10. So 10 and 10 cancel. We will be getting the answer as 2 Newton. So 2 Newton is the force needed to increase the kinetic energy by how much times? 4 times. So first of all, by the given values, what we have to find out? We have to find the kinetic energy. Then we have to find the increase in kinetic energy, dE, or we can take it as E dash, equals 4 into 25. 4 times energy is increasing. That means 100 joule. So for this increase in energy, how much force is needed? So according to Newton's second law, F equals dP by dt. So instead of dP, we are putting here root of 2m into dE. So we have the formula here. We are substituting these values. So we will be getting finally forces 2 Newton. Now fourth problem. What is the angle between vector A and resultant of vector A plus B and vector A minus B? So we have to find the angle between vector A and resultant of vector A plus B and vector A minus B. Okay. Suppose we have two vectors, vector A and vector B. So this is vector A. And I am taking another one vector, vector B like this. It's vector B. Both are joined tail to tail. So according to parallelogram law of vector addition, what we can say, suppose if we are completing a parallelogram, and this diagonal will give the resultant vector, that means vector A plus vector B. Okay, so this diagonal of this parallelogram will give the resultant vector, vector A plus plus vector b. So this resultant of vector A and vector B is vector A plus b. Similarly, suppose I am taking another one vector in opposite direction of vector b like this. And this is taken as minus vector b, just opposite direction, minus vector b. And here also we can find the resultant of vector A and minus vector b. So I am completing this parallelogram. And this diagonal. So here also I will be getting a diagonal. And this diagonal will give the resultant of vector A and minus vector b. The resultant can be written as vector A plus minus vector b. Or we can write vector A minus b. A minus b. That means resultant vector of vector A and vector b can be written as vector A plus b. Similarly, resultant vector of vector A and minus vector b can be written as vector A plus minus vector b, or we can write vector A minus vector b. So here they are asking about resultant of vector A plus b and vector A minus b. So that can be written as resultant of vector A plus b and vector A minus b. That is taken as vector R. So how will you find the resultant of these two vectors? Just we can add these vectors. That means vector A plus b plus vector A minus b. This plus b and minus b is cancelling. So we are getting now 2 vector A. So resultant vector is equivalent to how much here? 2 times vector A. Now we have to find the angle between which all things? Vector A and this resultant vector. That means 2 vector A. So we have to find the angle between vector A and 2 vector A. So for that, suppose this is vector A, this is vector A, and we have to find the angle between this vector A and 2 vector A. So 2 vector A means the vector will be in the same direction only, same direction, both are in same direction, but what about the magnitude? It may be twice. So 2 times vector A. So both the vectors are in same direction. So what is the angle between these two vectors? 0, because both are in same direction. So angle between vector A and 2 vector A is how much? 0. So the answer is 0. So 0 degree is the angle between vector A and 2 vector A. Next is 5th problem. A boy is standing on a weighing machine inside a lift, and when this lift is going upwards with an acceleration of g/4, the machine shows a reading of 50 kg weight. So when this lift is moving upwards, this weighing machine shows a reading of 50 kg weight. Then when the lift is going downwards with the same acceleration g/4, what is the reading of the machine in kilogram weight? So whenever this lift is moving upwards, the apparent weight of the boy will increase. So whenever this lift is moving upwards, the apparent weight of the boy will be increasing. And similarly, whenever the lift is moving downwards, the apparent weight of the boy will decrease. So we can see with the formula. So when the lift is moving upwards, so lift is moving upwards. So whenever lift is moving upwards with an acceleration A, then what will happen to the apparent weight? Apparent weight will increase. Apparent weight increases. That means weight of the boy will be increased. Apparent weight will be increasing. That is given by N, normal reaction force. N means it is a normal reaction force acting on that boy. So N equals M into G plus A. So this is the formula for which one? The normal force acting on this boy when this lift is moving upwards. That is M into G plus A. So here it is given that this lift is moving upwards with an acceleration of how much? A is given as G/4. the lift is moving upwards with an acceleration of g by 4. So here I am substituting this one. N equals m into g plus, instead of a I am putting here g by 4. That means g plus d by 4 is 4g plus d, that is 5g by 4. 5g by 4 into m. Okay. And this value is actually given here. It is given as 50 kilogram weight. So when the lift is moving upwards, this machine shows a reading of how much? 50 kilogram weight. So instead of n, what we can write now? 50. So instead of n, I am writing as 50. So 50 equals how much? 5g by 4 into m. Okay. Suppose I am taking g value as 10. So 5 into 10 by 4 into m. That is equivalent to which one? 50. Okay. Now we have to find which one? M. First of all, find m from this one. So m equals, I am cross multiplying 50 into 4 divided by 5 into 10. So 5, this one cancels. So 10. So 10 cancel. I am getting as 4. So mass is given as how much? 4 kilogram. So this is when the lift is moving upwards. So when the lift is moving upwards with an acceleration of g by 4. So we have the formula m into g plus a. Okay. But when the reverse, that is when the lift is moving downwards, the formula is n equal to m into g minus a. Okay. So next we have to find out the value when this lift is moving downwards. Now the lift is moving downwards. Lift is moving downwards. At that time what will happen? Lift is moving downwards with an acceleration. With some acceleration a. Then what will happen to the apparent weight? The apparent weight will decrease. Apparent weight decreases. It is given by the formula n equals m into g minus a. So whenever the lift is moving downward, apparent weight will decrease and the formula is given by m into g minus a. That is equivalent to m, how much we got? 4. 4 into g minus, what is a? Acceleration. So here this lift is moving downward with an acceleration of g by 4 only. So a equals g by 4. So instead of a, I am putting here as g by 4. Okay. So that is equivalent to 4 into, here 4g minus d, that is 3g. 3g by 4. That is 4 cancel. Remaining 3 into, suppose g I am putting as 10. So I am getting as 30 Newton. So when the lift is moving downward, this machine will shows how much reading? 30 Newton. Because at that time apparent weight is decreasing. The formula is n equals m into g minus a. And when the lift is moving upwards, the formula is n equals m into g plus a. G plus a. Clear? And suppose the lift is stationary, it is not at all moving. The lift is stationary means at that time we can write as n equals mg. Both will be same. Okay, that means suppose I am drawing a diagram here. Suppose a person is standing on the lift and the lift is stationary, and suppose the person's mass I am taking as m, then weight of this person will be acting in downward direction. Weight means which one? Gravitational force only. It is equivalent to gravitational force Fg. So weight is acting downwards and its normal reaction force is acting in the upward direction. Normal reaction force is acting in the upward direction. So and whenever this lift is stationary, it is not at all moving means both will be balanced. Net force will be 0 here. So net force is 0. Net force equals 0. That means n must be equivalent to this. Upward force must be equal to which one? Downward force. So say n equals mg. That means net acceleration is 0. Net acceleration 0 means net force also will be 0. So net force acting on this person will be 0 and net acceleration also 0. So at that time n must be equivalent to which one? Mg. So whenever the lift is stationary, n must be equal to mg. And whenever the lift is moving upwards, n equal to m into g plus a. And whenever lift is moving downwards with an acceleration, n equal to m into g minus